Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Brother Deshone, the Auto Advisor. And all I care about is making sure you pay less than everyone else for cars and never spend more than 30 minutes in a car dealership. That's been my mission. I spent 14 years in the car business. Now we do these live streams to make sure you have the strategies you need to save thousands of dollars, because there's only three prices you can pay with any car. Three prices: market value, above market value, or below market value. So all we talk about here is how to pay below market value, which leads to thousands and thousands of dollars in savings. And you can start typing your questions in and we will get to them one by one. So we appreciate you actually tuning in with us. Everything what I'll be talking about on this stream is out of my new digital book. It is called Cars from Home. That's a mindset. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. You can get a copy of it anytime over the next 30 minutes for 75% off. It's normally a $97 book. It's worth every penny. You can see it's 5 stars. You can Google it. But as part of my welcome offer, I want to give it to you for 75% off. So if you get to my TikTok bio before 30 minutes or my Instagram bio, click that website there, or the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, you'll click a link that you can activate that 75% off and get your book for $24 instead of $97. But it's only for 30 minutes, so make sure you get there before 30 minutes is up. Okay, so we're going to start out with Mary's question, which is what to say if I'm asked to make a down payment. First thing you have to realize is down payments are not mandatory, and in all but 2 cases, they're unnecessary. So down payments, let's say you're looking at a car, it's $25,000. You want to buy it. The bank will lend as long as you have good credit, fair credit, good credit, great credit, 20% above what the car's value is. So if you're buying a car for $25,000, the bank will lend another, let's call it $5,000. So they'll lend $30,000 against a $25,000 vehicle. Now, what does that $30,000 entail? Well, let's say you want to put no money down and you want to buy the car and put your taxes in the loan. The bank will approve that. Let's say you want to buy it and put your fees, which may be a documentation fee and DMV fees. Those are the only 3 legitimate fees: tax, DMV, documentation. So you put that in there. So now that takes you from 26, 25. With the taxes, you go up to 28. With the fees, you go up to 29. The bank will lend up to 30 or 20% above the vehicle's value, which is 25, which means you can do a no money down deal. It is not required. Let's say the vehicle's value is 25, but because you have no shopping strategy, you pay 28. The bank only is going to lend 30 because the price you paid for the vehicle does not affect the value of the vehicle. If the value was 25 and you paid 28, the bank's lending 30. Now, the same is true if you get a big discount. Let's say the value of the vehicle is 25 and you get it for 20. The bank is still going to lend what? Up to what? Come on, type in the chat so I know who I'm talking to. I need to make sure I'm talking to the locked in people. 30, exactly. So the loan to value ratios don't change regardless of what you pay for the vehicle. Now, as long as you are trying to get a vehicle and be with everything you want to add to your loan is within the loan to value ratios, money down is not necessary, no matter what they tell you. But what you have to understand is if you come over and you have $5,000 of negative equity, now we have to take that into consideration. Can we do a no money down deal with $5,000 of negative equity? Possibly. It's going to go back to 20% above what the vehicle's value is. So you heard, oh, maybe I get a discount, get me a nice deal, below market deal, knock $3,000-4,000 off. and I can bring over more negative equity. But the only two people who cannot do these no money down deals, and more than the majority of it, is the negative equity people, because you just have too much baggage you're bringing over. And then if your credit is too bad, where you're trying to finance everything, but even with credit being bad, they're normally just charging you a higher interest rate. They're not usually, sometimes you'll see a lower loan to value ratio, but typically the 20% is going to be customary. So it's really the negative equity that stops people from doing no money down deals in most cases. When I was at Mercedes, some of you know I worked for Mercedes for 5 years. People with 800 scores would leave with no car. Negative equity. So if you have a lot of negative equity, your goal is to find a car that you can get a huge discount off of, something like, $7,000-$10,000. Even if you look at somebody like Tiffany bought her Mazda using our strategies, using the strategies in my book. She got $6,530 off. Now that's a $44,000 vehicle. So if she had $6,000 of negative equity to bring over, she could do it, because she got a $6,500 discount off the car she was buying. So this is the basis for understanding no money down, Mary. And a key is for you to understand you need to be shopping for the price of your vehicle. The vehicle you're going to buy, you should be shopping for that with an out the door price, not with a loan. So let's say you are like, I want to buy a Hyundai Elantra. You should target whatever Hyundai Elantra you want, get the equipment, and then get a bunch of offers to see who's going to give you the biggest discount, because they're not all the same. They're very different. This isn't the Apple store. You can go to the Apple store in California, the iPhone's the same as the one in Florida. You go to a Hyundai dealership in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, it's an entirely different price from, Inglewood, New Jersey. A total different price than, Metuchen, New Jersey. They're all different. And that's what you have to understand. When you're shopping for your vehicle, you're shopping for the dealer who's going to sell you the car at the best price. You will handle your financing, your down payment, your interest rates in a separate process. You don't want to mix those two. Okay? That's a good start for you understanding that you should not be in a position where they're telling you make a down payment, unless you put yourself in that position. You follow what I just talked about over the last three minutes, then you should not be in that position. You should understand when a down payment is not necessary. And almost anyone can do these deals with no down payment. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's shoot the next one up. Keep typing your questions. We'll keep getting to them. What's up, Josh? Thank you for liking the video. I see you. Thank you, Bianca. Welcome to the people who are shared. Malik, 621, thank you for sharing. Shout out to the sharers. I see you. It does not go unnoticed. I appreciate everybody who shares, hit that share button, and sends this broadcast to some other people. I appreciate you. All right, AG, car shopping for a used Tesla X, how to save or haggle. There's two types of used car dealerships. When I worked at Mercedes, the first Mercedes-Benz dealership I worked at, big markups, wants to negotiate. Big markups. $7,000, $10,000 markups. Very exclusive cars in the particular case, but even if they didn't, they didn't have to have Mercedes. There's other dealerships that do this. They're going to leave themselves big markup, and then they're going to say, hey, let's negotiate. This is also for dealers who get a lot of traffic, walk-ins. They're either on a highway. They know that we're going to get 50 people on a Saturday to walk in. So they can charge, they put these prices up, and they're not trying to really sell them online. They're trying to sell them to the unsuspecting locals. Now, different dealership says, I'm only going to mark my cars up $1,500 because I want to sell a lot of them. This is an entirely different model, different mindset, different process. Where you will get in trouble is when you're talking to a dealer, or you're about to buy, you're trying to buy from a dealer that has the $1,500 markup, has already priced their car better than anyone, and you're trying to get $2,000 off because you think you're talking to the markup dealers. That's when you end up losing. So how do we know the difference? We use a process. In my book, I have a process called the multiple marketplace strategy, where we have all the marketplaces open where used cars are. If a used car is not on a website, you should not be talking about. You shouldn't be talking to anyone about it. If you can't find a vehicle on a website, a public marketplace, where every dealer wants to sell their cars, do not negotiate on these cars because they can make up prices. Let's say if it was on a website, it'd be 26. You come in, you're like, hey, I like that blue car. Hey, how much y'all asking for it? What's to stop them from saying, hey, yeah, it's not on the website yet. We're going to be asking 29. And then you're like, oh, that sounds kind of high. Well, what did you think? I'm trying to get to like 24. Now, meanwhile, if you'd have sold for 26, you probably would have, asked for, but because you think he's asking 29, now he could talk you down to 26 and you think you got a good deal. Meanwhile, the price they should have listed it for was 26 to begin with. So that's why it's a dangerous, unwinnable game to ever negotiate with a used car that you can't find on a marketplace, public, because that's where their competition is. So we're going back to our system. We're opening up all the marketplaces, CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, eBay Motors, Cars.com, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, and Carfax. 8 marketplaces. Now, all of these marketplaces have different cars. And sometimes you will see a marketplace that has a car here for 34, but the same car is on another marketplace for 32 because they lowered the price. But because you only look at Car Gurus and you're not looking at Carfax, you didn't see that when they lowered the price, this website updates faster than this one. So that's why we're on 8 marketplaces. And then we're narrowing it down based on the first thing you need to do is look at assess the market, I call it. In my book, in my multiple marketplace strategy, this is called assessing the market. What's the low prices? What's the high prices? Where the low side at? Low side is around 22. Okay, I see that. Now, the 22s are going to be garbage cars, accidents, frame damage, title messed up. But every now and then you see one for 22.5, 23, and it has a good Carfax and it has good service record, but it may not be the color you want. So now that has already set the market for you. I want it black, but I see a white one here. It has everything I want, but it's not the color. That means the low side of the market for that car is that. That's assessing the market. So now we're trying to find a vehicle there because, again, there's 3 prices that you can pay for any car. Market value, that's what negotiators pay. Above market value, that's what people who don't negotiate, can't negotiate, don't like negotiating pay. And then you got below market value, which is what people who use competitive bidding and put dealers against each other pay. Now, when we look at these low market, now we're trying to see, do we wait for a vehicle to pop up and can we screen down a couple vehicles to get to a top 3 or top 5 best choices? Once we do that, those are the vehicles, AJ, that we're going to see if we can make a final deal on, because they're already at the low side of the market. So what's going to happen? Either they're at the low side of the market and you're dealing with a dealer like the first Mercedes deal I worked up, meaning they're not going to sell the car for that price. They're going to try to mark up prep fees and marketing fees and all types of bogus fees, but they want you to come in first. They're not going to put that online. They want people to come in and say, hey, I saw this car. And then by the time, who's ever sat down, be honest, if you've ever sat down, you came to look at a car, they were asking like 22. But by the time everything got added up, they slapped like $7,000 more on it. Warranties, all types of stuff. And you're like, wait, who's had that happen? Type me if that's happened. And I need you to dialogue. Listen, I'm talking to the locked in people. Right, I see you, Josh, 100%. Okay, so this is a tactic. Look, absolutely. So this has happened to Judy, a lot of people. This is a strategy. It didn't happen by accident. They're purposely depending on people coming in, not calling in advance, and then they want to negotiate with them. Goes back to the first deal I said about the first deal I worked at. They want to negotiate. So the prices are so now that's what we verify. That's what we're only calling those top 3 to 5 dealers and saying, hey, besides besides the price here online, what fees do you charge? Once they say, oh no, tax, title, fee, doc, all right, now we know our last step is we need to get the original window sticker price so we can find out the true discount. Because we need to know, AJ, if we're dealing with a dealer who has the markup or not. And we never ask them for a discount over the phone. We go there because you got to understand I'm telling you how dealers operate because I've been inside. Every dealer who puts a used car on a website, we use a tool called V-Auto. It tells us where the vehicle we have priced at, where it ranks in the pricing. It'll tell us if we're in the top 3 best prices within 50 miles. It tells us that. So when you ask them for, hey, can you take off $2,000, $1,000 over the phone, especially if the car just got there, they're going to say, nah, listen, you can come in, we can see, but the car just got here. What we do is we drive there. We already know it's the best price on the market. So either way, we're coming home with a car. Unless it just doesn't drive well or something like that. Every now and then that happens. But usually when we leave and we know we've done our assessment from home, we're going to make that deal. That's how I did with my Infinity truck. I just had to test drive it, lock the deal up. When we do that, that's all we're doing when we get there. And we already know. Now, what we'll do, we'll ask them, hey, could you take off another $1,000? If they have it, they'll do it. If they don't, they might say, listen, we don't have it. The car just got here. I only got the car marked up. You see, we know they're telling the truth because we've done the research online. So now you know if you're programmed to only, hey, if I don't get 2,000 off, 3,000 off, then I can't buy it. And you're going to miss the dealers who want to, they literally put their cars online. They want them going in 24, 48 hours. They make sure they're the best price and they sell lots of used cars. You go in there trying to get 2,000, 3,000 off from them, you're missing opportunities. That's how it goes. Okay, this is all, that's all part of my multiple marketplace strategy. It's in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. As part of my welcome offer, you can get your copy for 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. So you go to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. You won't pay the normal $97 price, but it's only for 30 minutes. And then you'll have everything we'll be talking about on the stream step by step. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Okay, Mel, what's going on? A 5-year loan to buy a 2022 Jeep Compass. Is it good to trade in for a lease now? So this sounds like, Mel, you figured out you should be leasing, not buying. And now you're like, should I make that move now? In my book, step 1 is the leasing versus buying question, because this is the foundation of your car deal. You need to know how you're going to beat depreciation. So normally what happens is when people learn about the 8-year rule, which says if you're not buying a car to keep it for 8 years, then you should be shopping for a below market lease, not a purchase. So when people learn that, oftentimes they're like, okay, I know I'm not keeping this car. I'm in 8 years. Should I wait or should I transition to a lease now? There is no benefit to you waiting. As long as your equity situation isn't so bad where it's going to stop you from transitioning to a lease, the play is to move to a lease as soon as possible, because you're not going to get the money back you're putting into owning these cars. The only people that get the money back for owning these cars are long-term owners. 8 years, 10 years. We got people on here who have cars. I'm sure some of you have had cars for 8, 10, 12 years, maybe even more. We usually get somebody on here that has a car for more than 15 years. This is the people who get all the money out the cars. So if you're keeping a car in a short term, you're not getting the money out of them. You're putting the money in, But then when you go to replace it and you see how much you're getting back for it, you're like, wait, all this money I put in, this is all I'm getting back. That's why you don't want to put the money in. And that's what happens with below market leases. You look at somebody like Zafrina. Zafrina's driving a $65,000 vehicle, Jeep Grand Cherokee. I got it here on the screen. She's paying $579 a month, no money down. So $65,000 vehicle, that would normally be $1,200-1,300. She's paying $579 a month, no money down. She's never putting the money in. Raphael, she has a Jeep. This is her second car using our process. This is my second car. Look, she said it worked. Followed a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4x4. MSRP is $46,000. Well, it's $45,900, but let's say 46. Payments $549. That's a 1.19% lease. That's normally at $45,000 before we even throw the taxes in. That's normally a $900 payment on a 5-year loan. You can type that into any auto loan calculator and see. So you're going from $900 to $549. $900 is what people are paying to buy, unless they put more money down. And then, see, people never factor in their money down. So that's why I always, when I'm talking to you, I'm going to let you know how much it costs with no money down. Because if it's $900 a month with no money down, but you decide you want to put $15,000 down, you can't tell people, well, my car payment's only $700 a month. What about the $15,000? Let's divide that, and then you'll see, no, it was actually $900 a month that you put into this vehicle. So that's why I compare, in every case, no money down, so we can really see how much these vehicles are costing us. So when you're paying $900 a month, you need to try to get that money back. And after a while, you'll see if you pay the car off and you keep it a long time, it makes sense. If you keep a car, somebody just said I had an 03 Camry from day one. Look, 307,000 miles. Now, time heals all wounds. He could have paid $10,000 too much for that Camry. Just overpaid. He didn't know what he was doing. It was supposed to be 20. They charged him 30. But if he kept the vehicle 20 years, do you see how that doesn't quite matter? What would matter is the short term. The short term. So the key is understanding, if I'm not keeping my vehicle long term, 8+ years, I shouldn't be buying, because I'm not going to beat the depreciation. I should be shopping for deals like Raphael got, like Zafrina got, like Jen got, like Ansley got, where they're leasing these vehicles, driving brand new cars, not putting a lot of money into them. They're paying cents on the dollar. These are below market leases. These aren't regular leases. And then you're beating depreciation that way because you're not putting a bunch of money into these vehicles. So there's no benefit, Mel, in waiting. You should do your equity assessment. You've already done step one, deciding whether you're going to buy or lease. Now you move to step two in our process. That's the equity assessment, where you call your bank, get your payoff, then go to the 6 websites we teach that pay cash: CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, KBB Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, AutoNation. Once you do your equity assessment, it's going to tell you, do you have positive equity, negative equity? And then you will move to the third step, but you have to do that first. So, but there's no benefit in waiting. None. Not one benefit in waiting longer to stay in a bad financial structure when you can go into a lease. Great question. All of this is in my new digital book. For those of you, you're sitting there, you're like, Deshone, there's no way I'm going to remember all of this stuff. We haven't even started warming up yet. You can grab my digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It has everything in there step by step, leasing step by step, purchasing new cars step by step, purchasing used cars step by step, making banks bid for your loan step by step. And you can get it for 75% off as part of my welcome offer in my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio. Click the website there, and or YouTube comments or your Facebook comments, and you can get it for 75% off, which will be $24 instead of the $97. But it's only for 30 minutes. Once 30 minutes expires, the welcome offer does go away. And $97 is still a great price for what you're going to get, but $24 is better. Okay, go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Just got the book the other day. Awesome, Mel. And I see you already made the decision about the step one, which is great. Just move to the equity assessment and just keep checking off the steps. Just trust the process. You're going to be just fine. Thoughts on leasing versus financing? Well, T, this is exactly what we just spoke about. I have a very clear rule. It's called the 8-year rule. where it says if you're not buying your vehicle to keep 8 years, you should be leasing. And not just getting any lease, you need to get a below market lease, because some people will tell you leasing, this is when you know it's bad. When a dealer tells you leasing is the same price as buying, you're dealing with an 80% dealer, which means they are going to charge you a lot of money. And that lot of money is trying to discourage you from leasing, but that's not what a lease deal would be if you shopped around. So look at Ansley. Ansley has a 2024 Infiniti QX60. It's a $58,000 vehicle. He got it for $554 a month. Only first month's payment down. I want you to pay attention to these details. We're not putting money down to get to these payments. These are what is called 1% leases, or anything below 1.5 we consider a good deal. Anything below 1% we consider it a steal. So it's a steal, it's a deal. And over 1%, over 1.5%, I say in my book, it's time to chill. We don't lease those. We don't sign those leases. They're bad lease deals. But look at Jen. Jen pays $512 a month. Now, normally these vehicles that they're buying would be $300 to $400 more per month if they bought them. So when you take somebody like Danielle's Audi. It's a $45,000 Audi, 44 and change. If she bought that vehicle, she's looking at a $900 a month payment, no money down, 5 years. She's leasing it, no money down, $550. So she's paying, call it almost $400 less per month, because we didn't even put the taxes into the price of the vehicle. So if we put taxes into that MSRP, then it might be around $48. And her payment's probably going to be about $950 for 5 years. She's paying $550. Now, let's just to give you an example to understand it deeper, let's say she got a big discount off this Audi. Let's say they knock off even $10,000 for her, which would never happen. But let's just say she knocked off, I just want to prove a point here. Instead of 48 with the taxes, let's say she gets a big discount. She's at 38 now. How much is the payment on $38,000? Some of you know every $5,000, and that's going to be a little, roundabout math for you to do. Every $5,000 is about how much per month? Let's talk to the people who know this. Every $5,000 on a car loan that you look at every $5,000 is about how much per month? Not 1,000, Mel. I think you typed an extra zero by accident. Yes. $100. Yes, $100. Yes, I see a lot of people. Look, thank you, Cleef. Yes, I listen, man. I love the locked in people. Shout out to the people who locked in, following, and learning from what we're talking about here, not just letting it go in one ear and out the other. So when you look at a $10,000 car, you should automatically think that's $200 a month. $20,000 car, $400 a month. $80,000 car, you should be thinking, okay, that's $1,300 a month. So when you have these parameters, you don't get in trouble and you don't let people slap you in long loans. And how my payment so low? That's because you're in a 9-year loan. So when you have these parameters, you can't be tricked. So let's go back to, if she got a big discount off that Audi, 38 instead of 48. She's still looking at a $750 payment, $775. She's paying $550. So that is an example of how it's nowhere close. Even with the biggest discount you would get off of a brand new car, a below market lease is still so much lower from an investment standpoint, from what's coming out of your household. And let's take one more scenario, and this is all tied into the 8-year rule. When I say you can make it easy on yourself and just say, if I'm not keeping the car 8 years, I'm going to shop for a below market lease. Now I'm explaining the math behind it so that there's math behind it. So all right, I didn't just pull the 8 years out of my hat and say, hey, there's math behind it. So let's look at one more scenario. Let's say Danielle, somebody says they want to get a used Audi, because there's some of you you're like, well, Deshone, what if I buy used? Does it still make sense? Does the 8-year rule still apply? Because I'm going to knock, 20, 30% off the price. If I get it used, now it makes sense to buy, right? No, it doesn't. Let's go deep on this. So let's say Danielle, instead of 44, where her Audi is, let's say she finds a nice one for 28. 3-4 years old. I'm being generous. She finds a nice one for 28. With taxes, let's just round it out to 30. That's her all-in price. She finds her a nice 3 to 4-year-old Audi. 1 year left on the warranty, and then she's going to be on her own. $30,000. What's her payment? 5 years. What's her payment? Let's go. Type in. $30,000, $600 a month. Thank you. $600 a month. So we just took some very clear scenarios, and we took 35,000 would be 600 a month. Would be 700. Josh, 30,000 is going to be 600. Yep, you got it. I see you updated it. So now let's look at this. We have a scenario where Danielle's driving a brand new Audi for the next 3 years, $550 a month. Had she bought a brand new one with a dramatic discount, she's still be with a regular discount, she's going to be $900 a month. With a dramatic discount, she's still going to be it was close to it was 38. So 38, still close to almost $800 a month, $775. Then with her used version, if she bought a used version and got a great price on it, 28 plus tax, she's at $600. So every one of those scenarios is much more expensive than the purchase and then the lease, than the below market lease. And frankly, you can't really compare a 3-year-old, 4-year-old Audi to a brand new one. You just can't. Because you're only you're paying $600 a month, I'm paying $550, but the benefits even outweigh that. You're gonna have no warranty after a year. Anything goes wrong, you're on your own. You're going to, 3 years from now, your vehicle's going to be 7 years old. 3 years from now, I'm going into a brand new, another version, 2028 or whatever's going to be out then. So there's no comparison. When does the buyer win? The buyer wins in the long run. You can see the buyer's losing in the short term, right? In every one of those scenarios I just laid out, the buyer is clearly losing. Brand new car buyer paying $300, $400, $500 a month more than the below market lease, losing. The used person got a payment closer to the below market lease, but look what they're driving. 3-4-year-old car. It's going to have no warranty soon. They're going to be on their own. And then the majority of that time they have it, they're going to have no warranty. That is the life of the buyer. But after 8 years, the money paid starts to stack for the lease person. Because if I'm paying $550 a month, all right, let's say Danielle gets 3-4 Audis in a row. She just got 4 Audis, every single one of them, she gets below market deal $550. Below market deal $550. After she gets to year 8, she's paid more than these other people. Year 8, she's paid more. So at that particular point, financially, the buyers are ahead. But before that, the buyers have lost because Danielle's driving better vehicles for less. That's why it's the 8-year rule. This is the first decision you make, because if you make this wrong, you lost. If you go in to buy a car, if you go in and you buy a car, but you should have leased, you lost. I just showed you. Doesn't matter how good of a deal you got. Man, Deshone, they knocked 15% off for me. Does not matter. If you're going to replace that vehicle in 3, 4, 5 years, you would have been better off getting a below market lease and never tying up all of that money in the vehicle. That makes sense? Type $signs if you're clear on that. Type $sign, $sign if you're clear on that. All of this is in my new digital book. That's step 1. It's called Cars from Home. It's 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed the book and rated it. And it's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. That was step 1, which is our leasing versus buying question. That's how we put our deal on the right foundation. And that's the most important question. It's literally called that in the book, the most important question. How many years are you going to keep the next car? That's when we decide leasing versus buying. So as part of my welcome offer, you can get your copy of Cars from Home for 75% off in my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio. Go to click the picture of me, click the website. and then you can activate your 75% off for the book, but it's only for 30 minutes. Also in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. After that, price goes back up to $97. Welcome offer is gone, but go get your book and come on back to the show. And make sure when you get the book, you screenshot the thank you page, because on that thank you page is the link to open the book. I also email you a copy, but sometimes you type in your email wrong, you type in too fast, and that screenshot has my support team's email, where you can email my support team just in case you type your email wrong and your book's not in there. So go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Keep them coming. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We will get to as many as we can while we're on. How do you calculate the negative equity? This is a great question. Negative equity, you want to calculate based on your highest possible offers. When you calculate your negative equity based on anything but your highest offers for your vehicle, then you are now putting yourself in a position where you have more negative equity than you would have. So let's say you go into a car dealership, which we never do, and talk numbers. We go into a car dealership, test drive, pick up our car, but you're there, you're talking numbers. Now they look at you and they tell you your car is only worth 16. You have $6,000 of negative equity. That means you owe 22. So your car's worth 16, you owe 22. They're telling you you have $6,000 of negative equity. Now, the problem is, if you believe that without actually doing what we call the equity assessment, which is getting bids for your car from companies that pay cash. They buy cars same day, you come out, or sometimes they send an inspector. It's a very quick process. They cut you a check and they pick up your car, right? There's 6 companies we use right now to do that. Carvana, CarMax, Driveway, Kelly's Blue Book, Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Gurus. Now, these 6 companies bid, we get their bids. Now, let's say CarMax decides they can pay you $19,000. You owe 22. How much negative equity do you have now? The dealer, your car was only worth 16 to them, but to CarMax, it's worth 19. So instead of 6,000 negative equity, you only got 3,000. But if you didn't get the highest offers for your vehicle, your negative equity is going to appear larger. It's going to be larger. And it's not because it should have been. It's because you didn't employ strategies to maximize your vehicle's value by putting it on the open market. You wanted to do a quick deal and you took less money than you could have gotten trading in a car. We don't do that. So, Mary, we do the equity assessment. That's going to tell us right then and there how much negative equity we have or how much positive equity we have. It takes 15, 20 minutes to do. Just go to those 6 sites. That's in my book, step by step. That's step 2, the equity assessment. Once we actually decide whether we're going to buy or lease, that's step 1. Now we move to step 2, which is the equity assessment. We don't move forward until we found out what our equity position is. Okay, does that make sense? All right, go ahead, Dolan. Next question. And some of you are going to find out that you have more equity than you thought, and you don't have to wait to sell your car. So, I've had people who thought they had to wait until the car was paid off. If you ever, you might have thought, Sean, I thought I had to have my title to sell a car. No, you don't. You can sell a car you still have a loan on. Absolutely. And the reason I know this, people think this way, because when I was at the dealership, people would walk into the dealership. I get a guy who's like, hey, is that the new version there? That's the 2020 whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's the one just came out. He's like, all right, I got 3 more payments left, and then I'm gonna come see you for that. I'm like, what? Hold on, let me talk to you. Because someone told him, and it could have been based on 30 years ago. Maybe there was a time when you couldn't sell a vehicle without paying it off and having the title. I don't know. But in this particular case, it makes no sense to run a race, pay off a car, and then turn around and go get another car. You should be leasing. Because that's one of the downfalls of leasing is you always have a payment. Now, there's benefits there, but if you are buying and you always have a payment, because literally as soon as you pay off your car, you go get another car, and then you go get another car, and you always have a payment, you've never reached the reward stage of buying. So, IG, how would you know a car is below market value? Who to believe? CarMax? No, this is not. We don't believe companies. You know a car is below market value by looking at the market and getting multiple offers. There is no quick, oh, let me plug this in and this tells me this. We don't trust anyone. There's no trusting or believing anyone. You want to assess the market. If I'm looking at a bunch of used cars and I'm looking at, okay, 2020 to 2022 Honda Civics, I can see what the low side of the market is. They're at 19. I can see the middle of the market is about 23. Then I can see these all of my other ones, they high. I need to know where the low side of the market is. If I'm leasing, everything we do with buying, if we're buying a new car or we're leasing, we use a strategy in my book called the 25 to 5. We connect with 25 dealers online. We're going to get 5 offers. This is for new cars and leases. Assessing the market for these cars comes through multiple offers. So when I look at, let me give you an example. I'll use an example like Teddy. So Teddy gets multiple offers. How does he know that his BMW deal is a below market deal? Says here, look, the post is a bit wordy, but I'm too pumped. I will never lease another vehicle any other way. From start to finish, this deal took 6 days. Connected with 25 dealers online. We do this in 20 minutes. I'll show you in my book how to do this in 20 minutes. 4 nearby states. He's on the Indiana border. I received 10 offers. I only use the scripts provided. So I provide you with email scripts, copy and paste, because I know everything these dealers are going to say. Obviously, I was a car dealer for a long time, so I know the canned responses. So I wrote the email templates to respond to them. Now, he ends up, this is a $73,000 vehicle. He closed his deal at $856 a month, no money down. Now, how does he know $856 was the below market deal for his BMW? Because his highest offer came in at $1123. So you can see my highest offer during this process from a different dealer was $1123. Look, the dealer closest to me, the local dealer, came in at $986. So his closest dealer is $986. His highest offer is $1123. He closes his deal at $856. It's clearly below market value because he sees the market. The only way to get below market deals is to look at the market. That's why we have the best system for getting multiple offers on new cars and leases. Or if we're shopping for a used car, we're looking at multiple options. That's the only way. That's why I said there's 3 prices you can pay for any car. If you're going to buy a car, lease a car, if you're going to buy a new car, buy a used car, or lease a car, there's 3 prices you can pay. Market value, that's what negotiators get. They don't know if they're actually getting a below market deal. They're just negotiating to try to get to the bottom. But they don't know they're at the bottom because they don't even know if they're at the dealership. Let's just say, let me go back to Teddy's deal. Let me show you an example of why you can't get a below market deal from the wrong dealer. This Teddy's local dealer comes in at $986 a month. Now, we have counter offer calculators in my book. His $986 from his local dealer is not the first offer. That's the last offer. That's, hey, we're not doing anything lower than that. The highest offer, $1123. We're not doing anything lower than that. So if somebody's in there and they're negotiating with one of those dealers, they're not going to get to $856. They're at the wrong dealer. They're at an 80% dealer, and 80% dealers want to make a certain amount of money or they're not going to sell the car. If they can't make $5,000, they're not going to sell a car. $7,000, whatever it is, I'm not going below this. Meanwhile, the dealer who beat everyone's offer at $856, maybe they only made $2,000. Maybe they only made $3,000. Who knows? But the point is, they said, I don't need to make all that. I'm going to beat my competition and sell this person a car. That's a 20% dealer. That's why I say negotiators pay market value. People who don't, if you don't negotiate and you're like, man, Deshone, I just go and I close my eyes and just wake me up when it's over and I could drive out of here. You're going to pay above market value. So you're gonna, because you just don't have any, you don't have any fight in you, you have no strategy. But below market is reserved for the people who are putting dealers against each other, because it's the only way to know you got a below market deal is when you can look at enough options and know that you paid less. It's like this with anything. It's not just cars, TVs the same way. If you were buying a 100-inch TV, how would you make sure you're getting a good deal? You're going to look at probably 30, 40 TVs in every website. Then you're going to be, oh, this one's on sale, $699. All the rest of them is $900 and $1,000. Clearly, that's the below market deal. Same principles. Same principles. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. You know, coincidence. All I do is teach you to shop for cars like you shop for everything else. Everything else in life, you shop this way except cars. Cars, you shop a way you wouldn't shop for anything else the way you shop for cars. Think about that. Am I right or am I right? Type right if you know I'm right. The way you shop for cars and buy cars, you won't buy anything else like that. You don't buy houses like that. You don't buy jewelry like that. You don't buy, maybe jewelry. That's a little, you know, because it's sometimes tough to put people against it. But you don't buy TVs like that. You don't buy furniture like that. Just walk in and, all right, go back and forth. No, you're comparison shopping. You're using the internet as your friend to get the information and start to have multiple options. That's all we do when it comes to cars. That's why we win easily. It's no struggle when you're using the internet to put people against each other. The struggle is going in and battling and begging someone to take money off when you're already about to spend 30, 40 grand with them. Imagine that. You're about to make a $40,000 transaction and you're just begging, come on, can you take off another 500? Just $40,000. All right. Best SUV to buy. This is all subjective. If you want to look at ratings, feel free to do that. I don't recommend cars because it's just too subjective. There's over 40 car companies. All of them have vehicles in every size category: compact, midsize, large, 3 rows. So there's so many categories. The key is this: find one you like based on looks. I like the look of that. And then you can come home and do what we call a quality check. This is in my book. This is in step 4. This is when we make sure the car we're shopping for is a good car. Some vehicles have a bad DNA. I want you to remember this. DNA you can't get around. You cannot repair DNA. So if a Nissan has a particular transmission that goes out between 80 and 90,000 miles, I never get it, because I would never buy that car, because there's nothing I can do to escape what might happen. It's just literally the luck of the draw. Maybe mine doesn't go out at 80, 90,000, but these vehicles are known for the transmissions going out from 80 to 100,000 miles. That's why you'll notice a lot of Nissans for sale. They got like 80,000 miles on them, 90, because people get rid of them right when the transmission starts slipping or right before it goes out. That's what happens. So you can, and this is not all Nissan. So you need to, we always type in the actual car to Google, and we type in 2000, we put the year, the make, the model, 2000 Honda Accord reliability, 2018 Nissan Altima longevity. There's three words that we use that you need to get familiar with: initial quality, reliability, longevity. This takes 5 minutes to do. Initial quality tells you, what does the data say? What are people saying about the vehicle the first 90 days? So if you're leasing a car, you're going to buy a car new or you're going to lease it, you need to know what the initial quality reports are. What are the owners saying the first 90 days of the vehicle? Is it in the shop? Is it electric problems, little malfunctions, blind spot, whatever? That's initial quality, first 90 days. Reliability is your first 3 years. So you need to know, what are people saying about this car, not my neighbor. Not my neighbor. My neighbor owns one of them. There's 10,000 out here. What are they saying? Maybe my neighbor got a good one. You know what I'm saying? Your neighbor might have just got a good one. But I need to know, what are people saying about this vehicle the first 3 years? That's reliability. And then longevity is the long run. 7, 8 years, the engine. People, you're going to see people like Motor Trend and Vehicle Engines, all these websites that all they do is study engines and longevity. What are they saying about this vehicle? Are they saying that the transmission's known to go out? Sometimes you'll type in 2018 Kia Sorento longevity and you'll see right at the top, with proper maintenance, these vehicles are known to last 200,000 miles. That's a good sign. Now all we need to do is make sure we're getting a good one that has been properly maintained. But that's the DNA. So when you ask the best SUV to buy, my goal for you is to avoid the vehicles that have bad DNA. They have bad data. Could be a year. Could be the 2018 was trash, but then they saw that the 2018 was trash and they changed it, and then they made a better 2019. So it's all up to the year. I appreciate it, Rob. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. That's in step 4. See, that's shopping, not buying. We have 7 steps in our process. Most important question, step 1, equity assessment, step 2, deal focused budgeting, step 3, shopping, not buying, step 4, multiple offers, multiple options, step 5, paperwork and protection, step 6, and delivery is step 7, pickup or delivery. That's it. So everything I'm teaching on the stream is always going to be out of one of those steps. And for those of you who have the book, here's what you should always be asking yourself. Where am I at in the process? What step am I at in the process? Because you've come from not having a process. So you don't know what to do first. Should I be thinking about my trade-in? Or, oh, matter of fact, wait, he said don't trade. And then, all right, when do I get my loan? Do I get a pre-approval? You don't know where these things go, what order they go in. But I do. That's why we created a 7-step process that accounts for everything. So you always want to be asking yourself, where am I at? What step am I on, to make sure, all right, listen, why am I focused on budgeting right now and I haven't even decided how many years I'm keeping the car? That's my first step. That's what it's about. Okay, Judy, my Jeep lease is up in 2 months. Strange lease of 5 years. Would you finance the car at the end? You've had the car long enough and you're not owning it. So whatever type of financial deal that you went in on this, it was not a good deal because you're paying way too long on a car that you're not going to own. That's the reason we don't buy our leases. We don't do 4-year leases. Paying too much, unless you're paying like $200 a month or something ridiculously low, where you add up all the payments, add them all up. Look at it. All right, I gave them $2,000 up front, and then I paid $400 a month, and I've been paying $400 a month for 5 years. That's 60 months. All right, wow. All right, I paid them a lot of money. Add that up, and you'll see, compared to the MSRP, I paid way too much for this car that I'm giving back. So that's why I wouldn't suggest you buy it, because if you're not going to keep it long term, normally with a lease, it's broken into 2 sides. It's a part you're going to use, and then it's a part you're giving back to them. You're not paying towards that part. Let's say it's 50-50. You could stretch your side out. You got to pay half this car. You could stretch that out for 4 years or 5 years. But it has nothing to do with that back end. You're still going to owe. If you want to buy this thing, you still got that other half. So I don't know what your lease deal is, but if it's structured like a normal lease, you've just broken down your side. You're not paying it. Now, if you've paid into the car, 60-70% of the car, but I don't think you have, because that wouldn't be a lease. That would be a loan. That would be like, hey, I'm paying the car off. I paid it off for 5 years. I only got 2 years of payments left. I should only owe a small amount. If that was the case, then that's different. But on a lease, if you just took a 5-year lease, then you're paying your half. You're not paying towards the back. So you might have a very, very low payment, but you're not actually building, you're not paying towards the car. You're only paying towards the half you're going to use. So in that particular case, I would give the car back. Now, again, I don't know the exact details, but that just doesn't, but here's the benefit of leasing is cents on the dollar. Look at somebody who has a Jeep. You can see here, Raphael got her Jeep. It's a $46,000 Jeep. She's paying $549 a month, no money down. So she's putting into this car $549. Let me do some math. This is why when we get away from these structures, it doesn't make sense anymore. $549 times 36, that's $19,700. Now, going back to her deal, the vehicle itself is $45,900 plus tax and fees. She's going to pay $19,000 over 3 years. That's less than what the vehicle would normally depreciate. So her vehicle that's 46 minus 19, about 27 is what's left, not to mention her tax. This is why you have to be judging the lease deal. Leasing is all about, I need a low payment and I need to pay less than I would have tying up all of this money. So once we get into these long leases, we've defeated the purpose. We've defeated the purpose of leasing. So I wouldn't finance the car at the end, Judy, unless you look at your deal and you can see that you only owe like another 10 grand or something, or 12 grand. Then okay, maybe you do pick it up on the back end, but then you should have equity, because if it's going like a normal loan and you've been paying for 5 years, you should do your equity assessment. You have equity, but if you're in a 5-year lease, you won't have equity. All right, that's a strange structure for sure, like you said, and never do it again. Unless I'm wrong about it, that's just not something that you want to do again. And hopefully you had a super low payment and you just kept the payment low for 5 years. But again, you're in the same car. There's no warranty. It's just, let's do something different. There's much better ways to benefit financially and drive, nice vehicles. Yep, you got it, Elaine. Thank you. Thanks for always tapping in. I always see your comments on my videos. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Okay. Rita, what have you heard about the 2024-2025 Nissan Kicks? I would look at what we said over the last 7-8 minutes when we're checking the DNA of a vehicle. I ran down how we check reliability, initial quality, and longevity, and I would let it go from there. I don't give my opinions on cars. Now, what I do is I'm preparing these top 5 reports. So that's something we want to launch big in the next 2-3 weeks. We want to start giving you, based on the data, what are the top 5 worst SUVs, compact SUVs? What are the top 5 worst luxury cars? What are the top 5 best compact luxury cars? So we want to give you those things based on data, but that's not my opinion. You don't want to take someone's opinion on a car. You want to go where the data goes, because the data polls tens of thousands of people who have the car, and they report, this is what people are saying. This is what most people are saying. And that's all we want to focus on. But what I do, Rita, is go back into the YouTube video, rewind about 7-8 minutes. You'll hear my whole layout of how we check reliability, dependability, initial quality, longevity, how we check the DNA. That's checking the DNA of the car. And that's what's super important. You don't want to end up with a car that's in the shop every 3 months. I could teach you to pay less than everyone. Yeah, all right, you use the strategies, you paid less than everyone. But what does it matter if you have a car that's now, every time you go out, check engine lights on, every 3 months, check engine light. What is this? So make sure you do that. Okay, and this is all in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. We're talking about a piece of step 4, which is shopping, not buying. The reason it's called shopping, not buying, is because shopping is deciding what you want. Now, you're not taking enough time to do that. You are letting people rush you in a lot of cases. And now, once we decide what we want, it only takes us 90 minutes to get it. You saw what Ansley said. He got his deal, Teddy, 6 days. I got my below market deal. Ansley, he got his Infinity truck. Look, he said, I started the process Saturday. I accepted a deal Monday. It's quick. By the time we hit the market, we are seeing below market deals like that. So it's not even a matter of needing a month or 2 or 3 to be able to do this. Now, if you have time, you can watch the market, because deals change every month. So you can watch the market and see, okay, let's see the lease deals next month. Let's see where the used car price is going next month. Are they going down, up? So if you have time, that's a benefit. But even if you have a week, you can still get a below market deal. So that's step 4, shopping, not buying, deciding what you want. And when you do this the way I'm teaching you, you'll never worry about getting a car and then 3 months later you're like, man, I don't like this car. I need to replace it, which is a loss, because you're going to lose money, because you already depreciated the car. Now you're trying to replace it. So you're going to lose probably 15% of the value, whatever you paid for it. So we don't want to do that. You want to take the time to shop. You want to choose your vehicles wisely, test drive them, and you want to enjoy the process. And you will enjoy the process when you stop mixing buying with shopping. Let me say that again for those in the back. You will enjoy the shopping process, which is deciding what you want, when you stop mixing that with buying. Hey, Charlie, we're going out this weekend. You and your mother, we're going to go test drive some cars. We're going to go see the Nissan. Then we're going to go to the Chevy dealership. And I want you to sit in the back, and I want you to make sure that you can get all your football equipment back there. We're going to look at like 3 different vehicles. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Now you're at the first dealership. You see it. Okay. All right. What do you think, Charlie? This is nice. But yeah, this is nice, Dad. I like it. Let's go see some other ones. Next thing you know, the salesman says, hey, well, we got a sale today. So 1-day sale. Oh, now you're sitting down. Now you're sitting down. What are you talking? Well, Dad, what's going on? I thought we were going to the other dealerships. Yeah, son, hold on. Me and Daddy and Mom, we're working a deal here. Next thing you know, you're buying, not shopping anymore. And this is how you leave money on the table. Don't shop competitors. This is a tactic. Call them the showroom shackles. They want you to sit down. Just picture. Remember this. Every time you sit down at a dealership, just picture shackles coming out of the armrest of the chair, and because isn't it like that when you try to get up? Doesn't it feel like you're shackled? When you try to get up, hey, some of you can't even get your keys back. Hey, where my keys? Hey, you got my license? Hey, who has my driver's license? Hey, did you give me back my license? So this is a tactic. So once you understand, we avoid all of this. We never talk numbers in the dealership. When we're there to shop, which is decide what we want, test drive, go home. If that's the vehicle we want, we will be reaching out to buy it from home, online, by email. And if you're going to do it your way, you can call around, you can call them, but do not discuss numbers at the dealership. It's a losing battle. You have no leverage there. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. All right. If you're getting value out of the stream, can you type a $, $, $, just send $, $. Let me know you're getting value out of what we're doing. Every time I see the $, I appreciate it. It lets me know we're connected and you're getting what we're talking about. Thank you, Sherwin. Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you. All right. Listen, let's go. Next question, Dolan. Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. I see you. Thanks, Tracy. Which value guide do most lenders use to determine value? Probably NADA. But you should be shopping for below market deals. You could, if most people are paying 25 and the bank's using 25 as the value of the car, I don't want to pay 25. Why do I want to pay what everyone else is paying? So using the strategies we're discussing, multiple offers, low market, everything we're doing, you're in a scenario where when you pull up to someone with the same car, you've paid 2, 3, 4,000 less than them if they got market value. If they paid above market value, you might have paid 6,000 less than them. And this happens. Unfortunately, it happens sometime at one dealership. I remember I was at a Mercedes dealership and a customer comes in, he's going nuts. He's like, hey, I got an E-Class. Me and my neighbor, we go out to dinner the other night. We got the same car. I'm paying $200 more than him a month. He was pissed off. Now, how does that happen? One person paid above market value. Maybe the other person paid below market value or market value, but it's a $200 spread. Same vehicle. So when you're using what we're talking about, what you're learning in my book, what I talk about on these streams, you are not anywhere near what lenders should be looking at you and saying, man, that's be good. I don't know how you got the vehicle for that price, but that's a good loan to value ratio. In case the vehicle gets totaled, we know that we're in a good position. We know, rather than, hey, this guy has a vehicle, it's worth 27, but he bought it for 28. He's cutting this thing close. He needs gapping. So, all we care about is below market. We're not interested in none of these high prices, and how bad they are for other people, unfortunately. Go ahead, Dolan. For Countess, does it matter what type of vehicle you lease? Well, every vehicle has a different lease program attached to it. So every trim level has a different lease program attached to it. So a Mazda 3 Sport has a different lease program than a Mazda 3 Touring in many cases. Has a different lease program than a Mazda 3 Grand Touring. So every vehicle is different. Here's how I look at leasing, and here's how I want you to look at it if you want to talk value and money saving. You're looking for the car that you could drive the highest MSRP car for the lowest price. So my first lease was a Pontiac G6 $256 a month. It was like a $20,000 car, 2006. I paid a little more for it because I didn't have the credit. I had never financed a car. So I had to pay, I think I got tier 3 through my dealership. It was like maybe $40, maybe $30-something more per month that I had to pay. But my next lease was when I was at Mercedes, I leased an Infiniti that was next door. It was like a $32,000 car, $325 a month. It was an Infiniti G25. And then maybe a $35,000 car, G25. Then I leased a Q50, which was a $45,000 car, $345. Then I leased another Q50 because this was my wife's car, $365. And then I leased myself a Jeep Grand Cherokee 2018, $330, $35,000 truck, $330 a month. These are all under 1%. You take the monthly payment, divide it into the total MSRP. If it's under 1%, this is a steal. Incredible value. You're driving very expensive vehicles for very, very low payment. So, and then the last Infiniti that I got that I leased was we had 3 Q50s that my wife drove. And the last one was $365. So it kept going up by $20. Every time it would go up by $20. We had 3 Q50s. These were $44,000 vehicles. So that's how I approach leasing. Now, I might look at another vehicle, the same $45,000, but the lease program is not as aggressive. Once I shop my offers, maybe I'm at $500 because it's a different lease program. The lease program, in order to be at a 1% lease or close to it, you need a lot of support from the manufacturer. You need rebate, you need incentive, and then you need to get bids. So you can have a great lease program, but if you're at an 80% dealer, you're not going to see these deals that I've been showing this whole stream. You're not going to see any of these deals. You need a great lease program, and that combines with the bids that you're getting. And then once you get that, you can see, am I at 1%? Am I at 1.2%? Am I under 1%? Zafrina got a 0.88% lease on that Jeep Grand Cherokee, the electric version. She got a 0.88% lease. Ridiculous. $65,000 vehicle right here. She's paying $579 a month. No money down. $65,950, $579. That's a 0.88% lease. Ridiculous value. Ridiculous value. So the lower value, the lower percentage, the better. I max it out in my book. I teach you the 1.5% rule. 1.5%, we don't lease above that. We don't lease cars where the lease deal is above 1.5%, because when you add up all the payments, you're paying too much for a car you're giving back above 1.5%. It doesn't make any financial sense to lease the vehicle at that point. We just go to another vehicle. I've had people that said, Deshone, I wanted to lease the Range Rover. I got all my offers back. It was 1.6, 1.7, 1.9, 2. What do you think? I said, pick another vehicle. Go back to the Range Rover in 3 years. Maybe it'll have a better lease program then. There was a time, I remember Range Rover Sports had a great lease program. There was a time where the Velar had a great lease program. It goes away. And then they're like, hey, you know what? We need to sell some of these. It comes back. So, but it's so many vehicles out here. It doesn't make sense to lease something where you can't get it for below 1.5 or even lower, because there's just so many vehicles. You can find one with a great lease program using what I teach. Every vehicle you shop, it's only going to take you 90 minutes to see the market. Once you get to step 5 in my process and you're actually shopping the market for lease deals, it only takes 90 minutes to go to the websites, copy my scripts, and then get the offers back. So you can do this for 3-4 vehicles over a weekend if you want. But that's what you need to do, and then you determine what's the best value for me. Simple. I'm only leasing vehicles that I know I can drive them for cents on the dollar, and they're expensive vehicles. I don't even do 1.5. Sometimes you'll see somebody, they really like a vehicle. I always say, if you really like a vehicle, you shouldn't be leasing. If you're leasing, you don't love a vehicle. So let's put that out there. If you're switching vehicles every 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you don't love the vehicle. People who buy their vehicles to keep 8, 9, 10 years, then we can talk about love. But leases, they so fast. You lease a vehicle in 2.5 years, you got to start thinking about what I want next. 2.5 years, what I want next. So there's no love here. You just find something you really like that has a great lease program where you could pay these low prices, and then you move on and you do it again in 3 years. Don't fall in, that's what leasing is about. All right. So, and look, I saw somebody say that Audi, there's no rhyme or reason. All you can do is pick a vehicle, shop the market. There's no Audis have the best lease deals, Jeep Grand Cherokee, because look at how many vehicles are within Audi. You have the Audi A4, and then I told you have different trim levels. You have the Premium Plus package. You have Audi A6. You have the Honda EX, EXL, Touring. These are all different lease programs. So there's no way for you to say, oh, well, I know Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, they have a good lease program. No, you pick a vehicle, shop the market. None of these people who got these lease deals thought that, or none of the, even the people who purchased, no one, Sean saves 20 grand off his F-150 Lightning. He didn't know he was going to save that much money. Kimberly, Maserati, she gets $21,000 almost off the vehicle. She didn't know that. She didn't pick the Maserati because she knew she was going to save $20,000. She said, hey, Maserati's my first choice. Let me go shop for it. Oh, below market deal on this is $20,000 off. That's the way it works. Look, at the time last year, Eddie bought this 2023 Toyota Camry hybrid. They were extra hot at the time. He shops his best offer at that time is $2,086 off of MSRP. They had no rebates. He got multiple offers, and he said there were several dealers still charging MSRP over MSRP. Now, the market's changed on these in a year, but at the time, that was the below market deal. So no one goes in knowing how much a below market deal is going to be. You pick your vehicle, use my strategies, you get your offers, 24 hours, 48 hours, you have all the offers, you can see, how does it look? You got 5 offers, 7 offers, how does these look? Oh, wow, I'm saving $6,000. That's the best offer. All the other ones are saving me less than that. Oh, here, I'm saving 10 grand. Then you make your decision. Simple. And once you know how quick it is to actually do this, it's going to blow your mind, because you're going to say, any vehicle I'm considering, I can shop the market on it in 90 minutes and know what the below market deals are. Very empowering. So everything you're learning is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. This is a 7-step process for below market leases, below market new cars, below market used cars, step by step, A to Z. There's nothing left to chance. You can get your copy of it for it's normally $97, but 75% off, as long as you get to my TikTok bio before the 30 minutes is up, or my Instagram bio, or the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. That's my welcome offer. It's a digital book, so it will be in your inbox immediately. As soon as you get your book, make sure you screenshot the thank you page, because that does have my support team's email, just in case you type your email wrong. We can't email a book to a wrong email, so you could always reach out to my support team. And also on that page is the link to open the book. So as soon as you get it, you might want to open it, save it to your computer, but save the master link, because anytime I update the book, you actually get the updates. A couple months ago, Vroom went out of business. Vroom used to be in our equity assessment, used to be on our used car marketplace reports. They go out of business. We got to delete them. I went into the file, removed Vroom. Everyone who opened the book after that never saw Vroom again. So you keep the master link. That way, when I update the book, you get it. I don't charge for updates. I want you to win. That's why I'm giving you the welcome offer, where you could even get it for $24 instead of $97. But even if you miss the 30 minutes, you should go and get your copy for $97, because what you're going to benefit from is going to be 10 times worth what you paid for it. But if you get there before 30 minutes, you can actually get it for $24 instead. So go get your book. I appreciate you tuning in. I want to see you win. Make sure you email me your car deals when you make them. Send them to me by email. I love to see your deals, so I can bring them into the show and keep, talk about you the same way I'm talking about everyone else. And we'll make this happen. Keep unlearning. Leave everything you learned at the door. When you get my book, don't bring any of your old ideas to me. Trust our process. Leave all of that old way at the door, and your success is guaranteed. So I'll see y'all on the next stream. God bless you. Poland's in the back. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Deshone the Auto Advisor. This is all we do here, is make sure that you have the answers you need to shop the way you should be shopping in this car market, and in any car market. You should be putting dealers against each other. So all I do is make sure that you know what you need to do. We don't hold back. There's no fluff here. We get down and dirty. And but I do want you to lock in. If you have a notepad, you're going to want to take notes. You're going to want to watch this recording, because we're going to be going over some stuff you've never heard before. Pretty much everything we talk about here is stuff you've never heard, you've never done, and that's okay. That's why we represent unlearn, relearn. All right, we got to unlearn the old way Everything on the show is sponsored by my new digital book, Cars from Home. Thank God it's 5-star rated. Thanks to everyone who's reviewed it. You can get your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, in the YouTube comments, or in the Facebook comments over the next 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes to get 75% off, and that book will be in your inbox in 5 minutes. You'll have everything we're going to talk about on the stream and more. All right, so let's get started with the first question. What's a good mileage on a decent first car? Well, you want to look at mileage per year. So if you're looking at a car that's 5 years old, you want to consider average miles driven is 10 to 12,000 miles. That's average miles for a driver. So if you look at a 5-year-old car, 60,000 miles is just fine. You're looking at an 8-year-old car, 8 times 10, 80,000 miles, 96,000 miles. That's perfectly fine average miles for that car. Now, some people like to get below average miles. That's fine too. You know, anything above that. But here's what's more important than the mileage on the car. Service records, absolutely paramount. In fact, let's go to what really makes the car good or not, the DNA of the car. The DNA of the car is things that can't be fixed even when the first owner took care of the car. You might have a car, we always do what's called an initial quality check, a longevity check, and a reliability check on each car. I'm going to show you how to do that very easily. It takes 5 minutes. All of the stuff that I'm talking to you about takes minutes, not hours to do using a computer. So when you said the DNA of a car, that's something that can't be controlled because they made it that way. So if you look at a car and it has bad electric issues, that's in the DNA of the car. Doesn't matter if it was taken care of, doesn't matter if they serviced it. It's built in. Some cars, when you do your longevity check, let's say you're looking at a 2018 Nissan Sentra. You type into Google 2018 Nissan Sentra longevity. You're going to see, hey, some of these vehicles have electrical transmission problems at 80,000 miles, 90,000 miles. It's in the DNA of the car. Doesn't matter if you got a good one. Doesn't matter if you got a bad one. Chances are you're going to deal with these issues. So what we do, any car you are looking at, a used car, I want you to type in the year, the exact year of that car, and then type in reliability. That's going to tell you what they said about the car the first 3 years. You skim the articles. You don't need to read. All you're literally doing is skimming that first page. If you see this car has less than normal reliability, less than average reliability, you want to look for red flags. Then, once it passes the reliability check, then you type in 2018 Nissan Sentra longevity. Skim the articles. You'll see things about the engine. You'll see, okay, these engines last 200,000 miles. You'll see any red flags. You look at that first page, skim it. That's going to tell you everything you need to know to see is the data showing on these cars that it's bad. Don't listen to your neighbor. Your neighbor has one car. Hey, I love this car, but there's 10,000 other people with that same exact car, and maybe 20% of them are having an issue. So go where the data is, type in that search. It's very easy to do. That's in step 4 of my book, which is called Shopping, Not Buying. All of that is we do a 7-step process, and we do not buy any car or lease any car without checking the DNA of the car, which is the data. That's more important than the mileage on a used car. Great question. Let's go. Keep typing your questions. We'll get the next one. All right, we'll get the next question. All right, let's go. Is it better to say I have a trade-in or not? Great question. We don't use the word trade-in. That's actually a curse word here, because I'm going to tell you this. If you had this phone, will you get more money? I want everybody to lock in. Stay close to your keyboards. We're going to go through as many questions as possible. If I had this phone and I wanted to sell it online, would I get more money selling it online, or would I get more money trading it in for another phone? Type into the comments. Would I get more money for this phone selling it on the open market or trading it? Sell or trade? Thank you. Sell. Okay, shout out to the people that are locked in. So that's a good indicator of why trading does not get you the most money. Trading is a convenience thing. Now, we used to have to sell our cars privately if we wanted to get more money. Used to have to list them on Facebook Marketplace, have a bunch of people come by your house. They're driving it. Hey, you mind if I look under the hood? Strange people. We don't have to do that anymore. Why? Because there's big companies that cut cash checks for our cars, and it's easy to find them. I'm going to give you the 6. CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer links you to a local dealership to get a cash offer. Auto Nation links you to a local dealership to get a cash offer. Car Gurus link you to a local dealership for a cash offer. This takes 20 minutes. This is step 2 in my book. I call it the equity assessment. You have to maximize the value of your current car. You're also going to learn that we don't mix transactions here. What does that mean? Whenever you do a trade-in, you're doing 2 transactions with one dealer. What does that mean? Every time you buy a car from a dealer, that's 1 transaction you did with that dealer. If you trade your car or sell your car to them, because that's what you're doing a second transaction with that dealer. If you get your loan from them, you're doing a 3rd transaction with that dealer. And every time you do that, you're doing exactly what they want, because you're not giving you're not bidding out your loan on the open market to give multiple banks and lenders a chance to compete, and you're not listing your car on the open market, giving all of those 6 buyers that I just named a chance to compete. That's how you get the most money. You cannot get a great deal without maximizing each part of the transaction. You can't think that the same dealer that you bought your car from is going to pay you more money for your old car than anyone else would have paid you. That's why we do not trade. There's only one circumstance where you must trade. That's if you have a lot of negative equity and you can't pay the difference. So if these companies, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, CarMax, all the companies I named, they're going to pay you more than any dealer. Now, if you have negative equity after you get those offers, then you'll see, all right, the best thing for you to do is to pay the difference. Because if CarMax's offer is 19 and no one else is going to touch that, that's going to be the smallest amount of negative equity that you can have, because you got the highest amount for the car. If you go and trade that in, that dealership might only give you 17, which means whatever negative equity you had over here selling the CarMax, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, it's going to be more because you're getting less for the car. So but if you can't pay the difference, cover the difference of the negative equity, then do a clean transaction. That's what I recommend. But some people don't have the cash to do that. Then you must trade, which means you go and whatever dealership wins your business, they're going to have to be the ones to trade, because you need them to bring that negative equity over to the new deal. That's why you must stay out of negative equity. You must learn the reasons for negative equity. You must understand what causes negative equity, and then you must stop it. Because some of you, every single transaction you do, you have negative equity. There's a reason for that. You don't understand leasing. That is your problem. That's another question we'll go into, but that is the problem. I've been doing this 14 years, working in car dealerships. I've been educating people like you online since 2021. We got thousands of students, 10,000 books. So we do this. Negative equity is caused by either a short-term emergency where you switch your cars. Hey, I needed a bigger car. I thought I was going to keep this car forever, 8, 9, 10 years. But, my wife just had triplets. We needed a bigger car. We got to switch it. That's fine if you're going to pay off the car and keep it long-term. But if you're just switching cars, hey, I get a loan, 5-6 year loan, switch the car in 2 years, 3 years, roll the negative equity over. You keep doing that. The reason is you don't understand leasing, and you're in a financial structure that is going to penalize you for these short-term trades, and when you should be learning about getting below market leases. And we talk about that a lot on the stream. So great question. We do not trade. All of this is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy for 75% off as part of our launch offer in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, in the YouTube comment section, or in the Facebook comment section. But it's only for 30 minutes. Once the 30-minute timer goes to zero, it's $97. And it's worth every penny at $97, but $24 is better. So go there, get your book, come back to the show. All right, see you in a sec. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. $10,000 upsell. And you know what? Listen, this person grab this question, Dolan, for the next question. She said, I bought a vehicle during the pandemic, $10,000 upsell. I want to tell her about Bonita, but that'll be the next question. Let's get to C. Robinson on Instagram. We're in the midst of trying to lease a car. It's exhausting. Well, you're doing it the way they want you to do it. You're in there begging for discounts. You're in there walking into dealers, hoping you can get a good price. And what you don't understand is that 80% of dealers are overpriced. There's nothing you can do about that. Picture 10 dealerships on a block. 10 dealerships, they're all Nissan dealerships on a block. 8 of them are not going below a certain number. Doesn't matter how much you negotiate, yo, I'm not doing any better than this. And when they look at you and say, hey, Mr. Robinson, this is my best price, they're not lying. That's their best price. That's not their competition's best price. Their competition's best price is totally different. And what you have to learn is when you're looking at car dealerships, it's not like the Apple store. The Apple store, I go get an iPhone here, I could be in Southern California, it's going to be the same price. I can go up to Canada, it's going to be the same price in most cases. This is a convenience aspect. They fooled you into thinking, oh, the Nissan dealer you're at, we're just the closest one, but we're all the same. They're not the same. They compete every single day to see who's going to sell more cars. They report their numbers at the end of the month. They're competitors. They sell cars for different prices. So what you have to now do is bring that competition into your car shopping. You cannot do it going from dealer to dealer. If 8 out of 10 dealers are overpriced, then you need to figure out, how do I talk to all these dealers or communicate with them at one time to where I'm going to be able to get numbers from all of these dealers or whoever has a car, and I'm going to pick the winner. That is what we do. That's why our entire mindset and philosophy is called Cars from Home. There's only 3 reasons we're in a car dealership: to test drive, then we leave; to have our car appraised if we're selling it to a used car manager, then we leave; or to pick up our car because they don't deliver. That's the only 3 reasons. We are not there to talk numbers. We're not there to find out what's the specials of the day. We do all of that from home, online. You have the internet at your disposal. You wouldn't walk into a store to buy a $2,000 TV. Nobody would. No one who wants to get a good price on the TV. You'd be at home looking at all the TVs online and then saying, okay, boom, that's the best one. And you can make that decision in minutes because you have the internet at your disposal. It's the same way with cars. We have the online shopping system that allows you to get 5 offers because you must get 5 offers. I just told you 80% of dealers are overpriced. So that means 4 out of 5 dealers are overpriced. When you walk into Nissan and say, hey, there, can I get a quote on a lease? And they give you $799 a month, you leave saying, man, Nissan's expensive. No, Nissan of Bergen County is expensive. Nissan of Bay Ridge is expensive. You need to understand that that is one dealership. And when you grasp that, you won't be going into dealerships to get prices anymore. You'll be sitting at home like we do, getting prices online so that you can see. When you go to my book page, you'll see dozens of people. We share all. I've helped so many people learn this. I'm so fortunate because once I saw that they were able to do this, it just made me say, let me keep sharing their stories. See, anyone knows, okay, Deshone, you've been selling cars 14 years. You've been doing this since 2006. Obviously, you can get great deals. That's why all I do is share what my people who learn from me get, their deals, because they're all that matters. So you want to get 5 offers, Mr. Robinson. It doesn't matter if you're going to call and do it. Talk to sales managers. If I was calling, I would be calling and talk to salesmen. Now, who does not like talking to car dealerships? Type me in the comments. Stay close to your keyboard because I need to interact with you guys. Who does not like talking to car dealers? Because there are some people who do. When I was in Mercedes, it was some people who used to pop into the dealership every 2 months. They just come in. Hey, what are you doing here? And they're like, it's just, they get a thrill out of it. But if you don't like talking to car salesmen, type me or type hate it. I would only talk to managers if I enjoyed talking to car dealerships. I would only talk to managers if I enjoyed it. I would never be talking to car salesmen about a car deal. I would only talk to managers. That's one way to do it. But it's not as easy as our way. Now, if you're not going to use my book, talk to managers. Talk to managers. You must get 5 offers because then you're going to see how the heck is the same car, same $35,000 car. One dealership's charging me $560, no money down. One dealership's charging me $490, no money down. One dealership is charging me $395, no money down. How are these offers so different? because you're proving to yourself what I'm trying to tell you, which is 8 out of 10 are overpriced. That's their best offer. Charlie, that you've been buying cars from for 17 years, you done sent your kids to him, he might not compete. He's happy as long as you keep coming in and letting him control your deal and saying, hey, I made you a good deal. But once you start putting Charlie against the competitors, you're going to see Charlie was probably overcharging you all these years. And he's happy as long as you don't shop. But everything we do is by email. We do not talk to car salesmen. Everything we do is by email. In my book, I have scripts, templates. They're all email scripts. I'm not giving you script. Hey, don't ever say you don't have a trade-in. All of this stuff they've been trying to teach y'all since 2009 that never worked, that still had you having a horrible experience. We don't do that. I'm not teaching you to go negotiate with someone who negotiates 3 times a day, 5 days a week. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is teach you what to say by email to everything they're going to say to move the conversation forward with multiple dealerships at once so you can get 5 to 7 offers. That's why in my book, step 5 is called the 25 to 5, where we connect with 25 dealers online. We do it in 20 minutes, and you use my email scripts to move the conversation forward to get 5 to 7 offers. Once you get 5 to 7 offers, you're going to see the best one. You make your deal in literally minutes. This will take you 90 minutes. This is so simple to do. That old way you'll never go back to. That's the system for buying new cars and leases. Shopping for used cars is different. We still don't talk to salesmen, but it's a different system because we use the marketplaces. But that's your problem with shopping for a lease right now, C. Robertson. You are in the wrong places, talking to the wrong people, trying to beg for discounts when you need to step out of that and start making dealers bid. That's all in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's the whole blueprint, step by step. You can't mess it up. We got grandmothers, single mothers, introverts. Doesn't matter. You cannot mess it up. So get your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comment section, or the Facebook comment section. Only for 30 minutes. Use it. You'll never have these problems again. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Great question. Let's go. Negative equity. Can I still get a good trade? Not necessarily. This person has negative equity and they're asking, can I still get a trade in value? I told you the first thing you want to do with negative equity is make sure you're getting the most money for your car. That's super important because if you could have gotten 18 for your car, but you're looking at 16 and you're saying, okay, based on 16, I have $4,000 of negative equity. Well, if you got 18, you'd have 2,000 negative equity. So part of this entire transaction, which I call the equity assessment, is making sure that I have found the buyers who will cut me a cash check and pay the most money. I do not go into dealerships and have them look at me and say, yeah, well, based on what we could pay, you got about 8,000 negative equity. Again, you're not going to pay more money than CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Guru, Sell My Car. These are 6 offers, and these are people who every day they are fighting to buy vehicles. These are the people you want to be selling your cars to. People who every day all they do is get up and buy cars. People coming in there, hey, I'm here to pick up my check. They inspect the car, go into the accounting department, cut the check. Thank you, sir. Take off the license plate. Next. This is what they do. They're not trying to sell you a car. They're trying to buy cars. That's why we want to put our car in that market. So that's the first thing. Now, when you look at that, I have 2 strategies in my book for negative equity, and then a third one that doesn't lead to a car, because there's only 2 things that I've seen that stop people from getting cars depending on their situation. Credit is too bad, negative equity is too high, and they can't transfer it. We had people, I remember I was at the dealership, I'm at Mercedes, I got people with 800 credit scores not getting a car. They could afford it, can't transfer it. The bank's not going to approve it. They got 10,000 in negative equity. They're trying to roll it over to a $40,000 car, and they're trying to do no money down. So they want to finance the tax. They want to roll in the tax, the fees, and the negative equity. Bank's not doing it. That is how you could not get a car with negative equity. But there's 2 situations where you can. First one is if you can pay that difference. I already mentioned that. You get your 6 offers: driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, CarMax, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, driveway, and Car Gurus and AutoNation Sell My Car. 6 offers. If you can pay the difference, do it, because now you got a clean transaction. Now there's no baggage. I'm going in to shop for my car. Now, you have to time your transactions. In the book, I teach you how to time the transaction. You're not selling the car to them right away because you got to go find your car first. But here's another great thing about these companies. When you find out your car is worth 18, that's my highest bid. Now let me go shop for my new car. I'm going to keep y'all right there. I might not sell my car to y'all for 30 more days or 45 more days, but y'all going to be right there. They're not going to be like, hey, we only want to buy the car today. If you don't sell it to us today, we don't want it. No, they're going to be there in 30 days. Now, the offer might change a little. I always say you run it again every 2 weeks. See if it's changed. You know, car values do drop, but usually by a small amount. But the point is, once you know what your highest offer is, now let me start getting bids for my new car or my lease, or let me start looking at the market for my used car to find my below market used car. Once I find that car, once I find the 20% dealership, remember that if you're locked in on that 80% are overpriced and 20% are the best prices, type 20 in the comments. For the people who understand, oh, Deshone, I keep hearing you say 80% are overpriced. So that means I should be focused on finding the 20, right? Yes, type 20 into the chat. So I know you are locked in on understanding this. So now you're looking for this 20% dealer who's going to sell the used cars at the best prices, who's going to give you the best prices on the leases. I'm not seeing enough 20s come in the chat. Come on, y'all, lock in. Don't be distracted. It's too many things. Don't be reading other people's comments. We got some weirdos that come in every day. They talking about stuff that's unrelated because they're trying to distract you. You need to focus so that you can keep the most money in your bank account. Serious financial conversation we having right now. So now you're shopping for your 20% dealer. Now, perfect. I found my below market used car. I found my below market offer on my lease. Now, as soon as I find that, I'm asking the used car manager there that I'm about to make the deal with, can you look at my car? Can you tell me what my car is worth? Now, we do this online because a dealership, no used car manager worth their weight or worth their title can't put a number on a car without seeing it. They do it all day long. Sit there, look at the auction, put numbers on cars, So we can literally say, hey, can I send you all the information about my car? Can you give me an idea of what you could pay for it? Once we send them the year, make, model, send them pictures, they might say, okay, look, I'll give you about 17 for it. I need to see it. They're always going to say, I need to see it 100%. But you're about to go over the finish line with them. So now what they can pay for the car is what they can pay. You can't look at what CarMax was giving. You can't look at what you were getting through AutoNation, the car buy. You can't do that because, again, this is a dealership who's beat all their competition to sell you a car. That means they're selling you the car at the lowest price. The chances of them being able to beat all the competitors who wanted to buy your car is very, very slim. Very slim, almost impossible. But every now and then you will run into a deal like this. And this just happened with Melissa. Where's Melissa? Melissa, she gets her 2025 Honda Pilot. She didn't want to buy anymore because I told her about the 8-year rule. She found out she wasn't keeping her cars 8 years. She should be shopping for leases. She was spending so much money buying these cars, replacing them every 3 to 5 years, and she was losing on resale and depreciation. So once she learned about the 8-year rule, this is step 1 in my book, she said, Deshone, I'm not buying anymore. I'm going to be leasing. So she shops for her below market lease. She ends up getting a cash check. She gets her highest offer from Carvana for her old 2018. It left her with $12,000 of equity. Now, once she made her deal on the Honda, she asked the used car manager to look at the Kia. He matched the Carvana offer and gave her $12,000. That does happen sometimes. Every now and then, you're buying from a dealer and they can look at that used car and say, you know what, that car is valuable to me. And they will be able to match the offer that you got from the online buyers. But it doesn't happen in most cases. So you usually, but you don't want to get rich. You know, if I knew that I was getting 19 over here and they tried to offer me 14, that's when I'm going to be like, hold on, I might have to go and look at my other offer or my next best offer because it sounds like you're a little too low. But this is what you are. When you're at the mercy of trading, this is what you do. You can look at the market value of what you get and you're like, I know you're giving me nowhere near that. That's why I need y'all not to be trading cars. Get out of negative equity, stay out of negative equity, understand the cause for negative equity. You should be leasing cars, not buying them. The reason you have negative equity is because you buy cars, take out 5-6 year loans, 7, God forbid longer than 6. You're not paying them off. You're replacing the cars before the loans are paid. And this is continuing to keep you in a cycle of burying yourself in negative equity when you could be paying hundreds of dollars less, leasing cars, getting the mileage you need because you pick the mileage on a lease, driving new cars, always under warranty, and paying a whole lot less hassle-free if you just understand leasing. So feel free to ask questions about leases, and we'll go into detail about that. But that's the answer to your question. Everything we're teaching is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can Google it. You want to jump off and go Google that book. It's 5-star rated. Thank you to everybody who's reviewed it, rated it on Goodreads. Part of our welcome offer, you get your copy for 75% off. You won't pay the normal $97 price. It'll be in your inbox in 5 minutes. You'll have everything I teach for below market deals on leases, purchases, new cars, used car, high mileage drivers, understanding leasing, everything in minutes. In my TikTok bio for 30 minutes, Instagram bio, the YouTube comment section, or the Facebook comment section. Get there before 30 minutes is up, because after that, the price goes back up to $97. That's our welcome offer. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Shout out to the sharers and shout out to the people running the likes up on TikTok. Y'all know it's a couple people on here that know I can see the likes just going up. Y'all keep tapping the screen and y'all see those likes run up. We appreciate you. I can't share this. We can't get this message out without you. The people who take the time to share. I see you. Hello from Jennifer. She said just shared the live. Everyone who shares these broadcasts, who tags their friends, we appreciate you. Y'all are the real ones. All right, let's go. Steve Chase. The 5.3, 6.0, 6.2 GM motors with variable valve timing are throwing lifters like crazy. Beware. Okay, well, listen, that's what we would check in our reliability and our longevity checks. See, so he's talking about the engines on these vehicles and the variable valve timing engines. Listen, there are cars that are new cars that have serious problems, especially when you consider what happened in 2020 to 2023, when we had a limited inventory supply, but we had people trying to build cars to get them out to satisfy demand. So you had a lot of cars being built on the fly. But here's the thing. Step 4 of my process, which is shopping, not buying, we're doing a longevity check, a reliability check, and an initial quality check. Any vehicle you're doing, if you're leasing or buying a new car, you need to understand these 3 terms. Initial quality is, what is the data saying about the car the first 3 months? What are the owners saying? Is the technology clunky? Is it hard to use? That's initial quality. First 90 days that the vehicle has been in existence, what is the data saying? Reliability is the first 3 months. What are owners saying the first 3 months about this vehicle? What is the data showing? Not your neighbor. Your neighbor is not the data. Hey, I love this car, Steve. Okay, there's 10,000, 50,000 other people that have this car, and maybe 10% of them don't love this car because there's an issue going. You might have got a good one, they didn't. We need to know what the data says. So reliability is the first 3 years. Longevity is the long term. What are the reports saying about the engines, the transmissions? So how do we check this? It takes us 5 to 8 minutes. You type in the year, the specific year, make, and model of the vehicle you're looking at. You do not type in Kia Sorento reliability. No. 2019 might have been trash, but they saw the data and they fixed it in 2020 is great. You must type in the specific year. So you're going to type in 2020 Kia Sorento initial quality, and you're going to just skim the first articles on Google and see what is it saying. Okay, this initial quality, owners report these issues, electric issues. Just skim the first page, look at the major third-party websites. Do not look at any websites that were made by a dealership or the brand that makes the car. Don't look at KiaNews.com. No, you want to look at the third-party sites to see what they're saying about this vehicle. Now, you move to, once it passes that check, You move to the reliability. 2020 Kia Sorento, reliability. Skim the articles. What is it saying? See any red? This vehicle, owners report less than average reliability on this vehicle. That's a problem. So once it passes that check, we move to the last one. And you don't have to do this if you're leasing. You're only doing this last one if you're buying. 2020 Kia Sorento, longevity. That's going to tell you right at the top. Owners report these engines last 80, 90,000, transmission issues, 80, 90,000 miles. Or sometimes you'll see right at the top, these vehicles last 200 to 300,000 miles when taken care of, well maintained. That's a great sign. Now, how do we make sure that the vehicle's been well maintained? That's a different issue. We talked about that a little earlier. This is how we do it with service records and all of that. But you must check what Steve is talking about is the DNA of the vehicle. That's what I call the DNA of the vehicle. An engine that they made, a transmission that they made, a steering system that they made. It's either good, great, or bad. If you got problems, you can't change the steering. You can't find one that was well maintained and taken care of and say, all right, great. Now I don't have to worry about those issues. Yes, you do, because they made the car like that. They made it with a bad steering system. They made it with a bad transmission. So when you do that, this is step 4 in my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealership. Step 7 is delivery. But step 1, most important question, leasing versus buying. We go into that. Step 2 is the equity assessment to make sure we get more for our vehicle, for our old replacement car. And that includes leases. Some of you didn't know you could sell leases. We've been doing it for 3-4 years, teaching people how to do it. That's in the equity assessment step. Step 3, we structure our deal. Step 4 is called shopping, not buying. Step 5 is multiple offers and multiple options. We're in the market. Step 6 is paperwork and protection. Step 7 is delivery. So step 4 is where we make sure we're not getting bad cars with bad engines, Steve. So the warnings is not there. If people are going to do what I just said, they're not going to be a victim of what you just said. If they're not, yeah, they'll end up with a car that's in the shop every 6 months. And that was an easily avoidable problem. So you can get your copy of my digital book in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments for 30 minutes only. You get 75% off as part of our welcome offer. Go download your book. It'll be in your inbox. Make sure as soon as you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page. Right on the thank you page, it says click below to open your book. And I'm sending you another copy by email. But every now and then you type your email in wrong. You don't, and we can't send an email to a wrong email. So make sure you screenshot, get my support team's email. Just in case you type your email wrong, we can make sure you get your book. All right. Great concern, Steve. That's how we address it. Yeah, Dolan, pull the next question in. All right, great questions today. I'm loving these questions. What's going on, Duchess of Kings? I probably butchered that. Forgive me. Should I sell Hyundai Sonata that is highly stolen vehicle? I'm not understanding that question. Should you sell the Hyundai Sonata, which is a highly stolen vehicle? You're gonna have to, try to clarify that question. Now, Dolan, there was a question on TikTok I mentioned earlier about somebody who said they bought a car during the pandemic, a $10,000 upsell. It's from Hey, it's Elmo. Okay, perfect. Hey, it's Elmo says, I bought a car during the pandemic, $10,000 upsell. This is the sad part about what happened during the pandemic. They made you think that everyone was selling cars at those prices. And that's where I birthed the system that I teach about, making dealers bid so that you can see that 80% of the dealers, even back then, were overpriced. I had friends in the car business, still do that, with managers that I was calling during those times. And we were talking about what dealers were doing. And it was like, some of them were disgusted with it. Very, very few of them were moving like that. They were selling at list price. Very few were giving discounts, but no one was charging $5,000, $10,000 over sticker. So I knew that. And my mission was to teach people back then that you have to get bids from multiple dealers, because the 80% who you guys know are the overpriced dealers. If you've been on this stream, 80% of dealers are overpriced, 8 out of 10. If there's 8 Kia dealerships on the road, 8 of them, no matter how much you negotiate, are never going to be as low as the other 2. The other 2 are the competitor. They want to beat their competition. They don't care if they make $1,000 profit on a deal. As long as they're beating their competitors, they want to do it. These other dealers will be like, hey, I need to make at least $4,000 on this car. I'm not selling it. That's what you're dealing with. And they're not giving you the rebate. So all of this stuff happened during the pandemic because people didn't know how to shop. So one of the most popular vehicles during the pandemic was this vehicle I'm showing on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. It's the Kia Telluride. And Benita, you can look at the year. This was 2022. We were still seeing people pay $5,000 and $10,000 over sticker for these Kia Tellurides. Benita comes in, she gets bids, and she ends up with a lease at $600 a month, $600 down. She gave them $600. She drove off. There were people, and if anybody is willing to say me and tell your story about the Kia Telluride, there are people that were paying $800, $900 a month for this exact same vehicle. They were leasing them and buying them for $5,000 and $10,000 over sticker. She ends up, I don't know if she got a discount, but she probably did because you couldn't get to a $600 payment on a Kia Telluride back then without a discount. So what does that tell you? It's always going to be deals. It depends on how you shop. Somebody came to me in the gym. First thing he said to me was, man, when is the car market going to get better? We have been getting deals since 2019. There's never been a point in time in my life where I couldn't get a below market deal. So what you got to understand about the car market is it's three prices, always three prices for every car. Every time you buy a car, you need to lock in. There's three prices that could be paid. Market value, that's what most people are paying. Above market value, that's what some people are paying because they have no idea how to shop. They're easily manipulated. Dealers know how to make them pay more and have them think they won. Happens all the time. And then below market value. Below market value is reserved for the savvy people with strategies. You don't get a below market price by accident. You don't get a below market price by negotiating. Because if you're negotiating with an 80% dealer and you think, oh man, I talked him down to the bottom, he wouldn't even do no less than what he was going to let me walk out. That does not mean that was the lowest price in the market. The way you get the lowest price in the market is through bidding. It's through getting 5 offers from 5 separate dealers to get your prices. Look at somebody like Teddy. Teddy gets a BMW because people say, well, does this work for exotic cars or luxury cars? This works for every car because the bidding system works for everything. Amazon, that's how we buy everything in life. If you really think about it, bidding is how we buy everything in life except cars. Think about that. Everything in life we do, when we're buying cars, when we're buying TVs, when we're buying, just anything. Most of the websites we're on, it's teaching us a bidding system. We're looking at so many options, so many offers, and then we choose the best one. When it comes to this, Teddy's highest offer on his $73,000 BMW, you can see the price here. His highest offer was $1,123 a month. He ends up getting it for $856 a month. $856 to $1,123. 80% of dealers, look, his local dealer, read the comment in the middle. My local dealer, the one that's closest, the one he's probably been, every time he wanted to see the car, he walked in, see them. Oh, hey, Teddy, when you're ready, man, we're going to take care of you. His local dealer comes back at $937. So he's sitting at home. And look, he said, thank you, Deshone, for the wisdom and advice. This program works. I even got them they covered his last 2 lease payments. He had to drive an hour and a half to pick it up. That's when you know you did it right. When you got to drive an hour and a half to save $5,000, that's when you know you did it right. Because a lot of times those dealers who are far from you, when they see a zip code come in on their website, man, this person is nowhere near us. They look at it as an opportunity to take a deal from their competition. And they love doing that. They love being able to say, all right, I would rather have our license plate frame in their city so that they know we got that deal. But the ones closest to you, sometimes they feel like they own you. Come on, Mo, you know, how many cars have I sold you? Remember, your father used to buy cars from me. They don't want you to shop. So when you understand that you are going to overpay by not shopping, it's a guarantee because that is how the car business makes their billions. I always say that's how the banks make their billion. We didn't get into the banks yet. We didn't get into making banks bid. The banks make their billions the same way. They don't want you shopping other banks. They want you locked in. Here, get a pre-approval. Lock you in. You got 30 days to find a car. Then you got to come back and get another pre-approval. Everyone wants to lock you in. They don't want you using the internet to get better deals, sitting at home, making all these banks bid, all these companies bid. And that's the reason why you can pay $10,000 upsell and think that was the best deal you could have gotten. I remember when the Bronco came out, the new Bronco came out right about that time, and everyone wanted the Bronco. There was $10,000 over sticker and more. G-Wagon, same thing, $25,000, $50,000 over sticker. If you knew how to shop, you could find a dealer that wasn't paying, that wasn't charging that. Which means if you found a dealer, if you were about to sign a deal for $15,000 over sticker, $15,000, because you're thinking, oh, they're telling me this is it, it's no cars out here. And then you find a way through strategy, through shopping, and you find a deal at sticker, you just saved, you just avoided a $15,000 mistake. Because if it was the only way, then it's not a mistake. If everyone paid those prices, it wasn't a mistake. This was just what everyone was paying. I needed a car, I had to pay it. But when you find a car that didn't have the markup and you get it, you understand. So let this be a lesson. I'm the bad news first person. I can't change that. Some of you, you know that. You've been on with me long enough, you've been following me, or you've been on the stream. I always admit that. I'm the bad news first person. Most times you come into my stream, it's not going to be good news. You're going to hear about mistakes you make. I used to do a class where I just broke down 23 mistakes I see most people making that's costing them thousands. But I don't leave you there. I give you the new way. If I left you there, then it would be like, dang, this is terrible. No, I gotta tell you the mistakes and how much it's cost you not knowing how to shop, how much dealers have made on you to get you to say, oh, let me do something different so that they don't keep making this money on me that I didn't have to give them. So all of this, the bidding strategies, everything I teach is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. You'll never have to worry about upsell. I don't have one person that I know that have reported a deal to me. And, I can share these people all day long. You guys know all I do is share people. Eddie, Kimberly, Charles, Sean, huge discount, $20,000 discount. Kimberly, $20,000 discount on her Maserati. Charles, ridiculous deal on her Palisade. Pierre, on his pre-owned Mazda, he gets 20% off the original MSRP on his pre-owned. It was only 1 year old at the time. Zafrina gets a 0.88% lease, $579, $66,000 vehicle. Tiffany, use my book, $44,000 Mazda, ends up getting $6,500 discount from home. All of these people are making these deals from home. Teddy, we already talked about. Look, Jared, use the scripts. Lowest offer $565 a month to $520 a month. 2024 Volkswagen, no money down. No one who has learned from me has ever paid over sticker. We don't really even accept sticker price. We find the dealers who want to beat their competition, and in most cases, dealers are going to, let me show you the biggest discount I've ever seen. I've never even gotten, and now this is a specific car. Every car is different. The bottom market value of every car is different. But Milligan, she got the biggest discount I've ever seen on any car. Hold on. Milligan, a couple days ago, she got a Mercedes. She got a 2024 Mercedes EQE. It was a $79,000 vehicle. You can see it if you zoom in. Her adjusted price was $51,300. From $79,000 to $51,000. Some of you know someone who has this vehicle. If you didn't get, this is how feeling for the bottom is a losing strategy. You might have thought you did good. Deshone, I got that same vehicle. I got the EQE. I got $10,000 off. I thought I won. Milligan got $27,000 off. Let that sink in. You can't feel for the bottom. You can only have dealers bid to find the bottom. You don't know what the bottom is. They want you to think you won. Hey, you got 10,000. Ain't that good enough? Yeah, I guess. I never got 10,000 off a car before. If this particular case, you would have lost $17,000 overpayment. So this is what bidding gets you. You want to learn to make people bid and stop negotiating with one dealer or two dealers. It's a losing strategy. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Great questions today. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Dang, y'all running the likes up on TikTok. Thank you so much. We on 2 TikTok channels right now, if y'all didn't know. Every time y'all hear something y'all like, y'all keep running those likes up, man. I appreciate it. That really matters. And shout out to the people who shared, who tagged somebody. If you haven't tagged your best friend into the broadcast, I got to question what type of friend you are. Your best friend out here right now, car shop, and you don't even know it. And you getting all this gold and you haven't tagged them in. What's up, Tracy on TikTok? Lease is up in 2 months. Use the private broker. How do I know if he gives a good deal? Great question. Most brokers are ripping you off. And here's the thing, they're controlling your deal. They're not bad people. They're just about the profit. So as a broker, we work on trust. When I was a broker, it was a trust system. So I care about you more than the dealer. Let me represent your interests. Here's the problem. If you don't have a broker who's sincerely shopping the market for you, then you're losing. We always separate our transactions. I call them the 3 pillars of great car deals. Who you buy your car from, that's one pillar. You need to get a great deal there. You need to get the best deal, who you buy your car from, 80% to 20%. Who I sell my car to, that's another transaction. And that includes an old lease. We haven't talked about selling leases yet. No one's asked. But we sell leases. If there's equity, we sell them. So if you give that broker your old lease and you didn't do an equity assessment, now they have control of that. And then lastly, if you're not leasing, you're getting a loan, who you get your loan from. That's the 3rd transaction. So there's money in each of these transactions. There might be $7,000 with rebates and discounts in the car you're buying. Could be more. You saw Milligan's deal. She got $27,000 off. It was huge rebates that no one knew about. Then you have money in your old car. You might have a couple thousand equity in your lease or equity in your old car. Now you're giving them control of that. And now the car that you're, if you're getting a loan, the interest rate, you're giving them control of that. If you could have got 5.9, but they're giving you 7.9, then there's markups in your interest rate. There could be $2,000, $3,000 in markups there. So you're giving them control of all of this money. So how do we sincerely know if a broker has gotten us a great deal or not? They're giving us a market report. See, in Cars from Home, in my book, you're going to learn to do a market report. Very simple. 25 dealers in my book, step 5, we reach out to 25 dealers online. Takes us 20 minutes for a new car or a lease. I call it the 25 to 5 because we're connecting with 25 dealers online using my email script, and we're going to get 5 offers minimum. 25 to 5. So at the end of making our deal, everyone who I just showed you has a market report. They know what this dealer said, what this dealer said, what this dealer said, what this dealer said. This dealer didn't have a car. This dealer didn't have a car. This dealer had a car, it was the wrong color. This dealer, then they have these offers so that they know they didn't leave any money on the table. And they do this in 90 minutes. So literally connecting with 20 dealers takes 20 minutes. Using my scripts and all my copy and paste stuff takes 90 minutes to make these deals online. And we know that we didn't overpay. If you're buying your new car, you're looking at all these offers, you guarantee I didn't overpay. If you're getting your selling your old car, what are the numbers from CarMax, Kelly's Blue Book, Instant Cash Offer, Carvana, Driveway, AutoNation, and Car Gurus? What are those 6 offers? If the broker didn't tell you this is what the 6 offers are, this is what your offers are for your old car, they usually have a wholesaler that buys the cars from them. Hey, this person wants to sell a car. Hey, what could you pay me? And then this wholesaler cuts them a check for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and then they take the car. They're using their network. They're not taking you to the market. That's the problem with brokers. When I was brokering, I had a network, but it was always trying to expand. But here's the thing, every dealer doesn't work with brokers. Every dealer won't pay a broker. So you might think, well, I paid them $500 or $1,000. They want to also get paid from the dealer. The dealer cuts it. That's why most brokers make deals with the same dealers, because those are the dealers who do business with brokers. They'll cut them $1,000 check, $2,000 check. If you bring them a heavy customer who gets a G-Wagon, they'll cut them a $4,000 check. If that's not in their network, they're not going to shop you to those people. So you're giving control of people, you're giving control of thousands of dollars of your money to someone who's going to control it on a process that you could do in 90 minutes once you learn my strategies. It's no point in you could be a broker. Anybody who uses my strategies could literally go to people in their town and say, hey, man, I'm a master at this. Pay me $500, I'll shop for you. This is how I would broker. I would be getting reports. If I was shopping for a used car, using my strategies in my book, the multiple marketplace strategy, you're able to see the low side of the market. I teach you how to assess what are the low side, what's the high side. I teach you how to narrow it down to your top 3 to 5 choices. I teach you how to get the new car price so you know what the real discount is and what the real equipment is. You could give that to a customer. They'll be like, no one's ever done this for me. That was worth every bit of the $500 I paid you, $700 I paid you. But if a broker is not doing that and giving you a transparent spreadsheet of offers, then they just controlled your deal, sold it to their network, and collected the biggest check for you, for themselves. That's how it works. So get your copy of Cars from Home, my new digital book, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. Part of our welcome offer. You get it for 75% off. It'll be in your inbox in literally minutes. You can go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, click the website, or my Facebook comments, or my YouTube comments. Click the website to activate your 75% off. Get your book. You'll have all my strategies for below market leases, paying less than everyone for new cars, used cars, how to get quality cars, high mileage drivers. We got a lot of questions that haven't been asked today. High mileage, selling leases, all of this stuff we haven't talked about. That's all in there step by step to make sure you pay less than everyone else and you do it from home without having to negotiate or beg or have down payments or any of the stuff that they want you to think you need. But after you get your book, make sure you screenshot the thank you page because it has my support email on there as my team in case you type your email wrong. We'll make sure you get your book. We can't send the book to a wrong email. Also, as soon as you get your book, you'll see a link below. It says click below to open your book because you might want to just open it and save it right there to your computer and then come back to the stream. But go get your book. It's part of our welcome offer, but it's only for 30 minutes. Once the 30-minute timer is up, price of the book goes back up to $97. And some of you knowing what you know, knowing what we've covered in this stream so far, you understand the book is worth every bit of $97. It's worth more than that. That's a book that I could actually sell for $297. And the people who get it would be like, this book was worth every bit of the $297. So even if you miss the 30-minute timer and it's $97, it's worth every penny. But you need to get your book if you don't want to bother remembering this or whatever. It's my whole blueprint. And Google it. Google it if you want to hear from your peers about how great the book is. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed it, everyone who rated it. It really matters. All right. Goody from TikTok. Does your book explain how to find out if dealership has rebates? So a dealership doesn't have rebates. The manufacturer has rebates. See, they make you think we have a military deal. We have rebates. No, it goes to the region because the manufacturer has to keep the dealerships competitive. So he can't give one Jeep dealer $2,000 rebate without giving it to the other Jeep dealers. It doesn't come from the dealership. It comes from the manufacturer. This is a clue for you to understand that one dealer can't do something another dealer can't do. If one dealer who earned your business, when you use this bidding system and you start getting at least 5 offers for cars, beats everyone else, you'll see, wow, they're taking off $10,000. These other dealers wouldn't take off no more than $5,000. What, did they have better programs? No, they didn't. They just were comfortable selling and competing against their competitors to beat them, and they gave you all the rebates and everything they had to make a deal with you. These other dealers wanted to make $5,000 on you, $7,000 on you. They weren't going to go below that. So when they said, hey, Goody, that's our best offer, they weren't lying. That's their best offer, but it wasn't their competitor's best offer. So the only way you are going to get the rebates is for you to understand you cannot ask for them and get the truth and know the truth. You have to get bids to reveal the truth. You could have a $5,000 rebate on a vehicle. Dealer might come to you as you walk in because you're negotiating and that's what they like. And then you say, hey, give me your best price. And they say, okay, well, I'll give you this. And by the way, we got a $2,000 rebate I threw in there for you. Oh, that's great. Now you think you're doing good. They just told me about a $2,000 rebate I didn't even know they had. You go to another dealer, they tell you it's a $3,000 rebate. But once you get bids and you're looking at 5 to 7 offers, you see, wow, it's actually a $5,000 rebate. You have to reveal that. We had a woman in California, Shonda, she was buying a Volvo XC60 or XC90 at the time. She's using our strategies. She's in Northern California. She got a Costco program rebate on our scripts in my book. I teach you how to put any affiliations you have. There's certain things you must have when you contact a dealer for a new car quote or a lease quote. They need to know your zip code, what you do for a living, what vehicles in your household. Many of you can't get quotes because you're just not giving the dealer what they need to actually give you a quote. So that's why I have the templates in there that you just fill in, send it to them. So on her deals, she sees that there's a rebate for Costco members. There's also some other rebates, but she found out that the best price she was getting was in Southern California. It was 3,000 or 4,000 less than all the dealers in Northern California. So I said, well, what are you going to do? She said, I just booked a plane ticket. It was $79. I said, that's exactly what I would have did. I'm flying to Southern California to save almost $4,000. Cost me $100 for a plane ticket, and I'll drive back up to Northern California in my new vehicle. See, you must reveal the rebates. Dealers will tell you there's 5,000, there's 8,000, but if you're dealing with an 80% dealer, and all of you who've been on the stream, you know the 80% of dealers are overpriced. We've already talked about the 80 and 20. Out of 10 Volvo dealerships, 8 of them are going to be overpriced. No matter how much you negotiate, you can't win. You're never going to get a below market price from the 80%. But the 20% are going to reveal what the true rebates are. They're going to reveal what they have to work with. They're going to, if they have $5,000 of negotiating room and they're trying to beat their competition, they're going to give you like $4,000 of that plus the rebates. They don't care if they're only making $1,000 on the deal because they want to sell the car and beat their competition. The other dealers, the 80%, they're not there. We're not making less than $5,000. We're not doing the deal. And that's it. We'll sell it to somebody else. We'll sell it to somebody else who doesn't know how to shop. We'll sell it to someone else who walks in and tries to negotiate with us. We'll sell it to somebody else who doesn't make us compete against competitors. We're not going that low to earn your business, Mr. Goody. So that's okay. That's why we sit at home. We talk, we communicate with not just them, but with all of their competitors. That's why the strategy in step 5 is called the 25 to 5. You're going to be connecting with 25 dealers in 20 minutes using my email scripts to get 5 to 7 offers. And next thing you know, you found the highest offer, the best offer, and it might be an hour and a half away. Look at Sean's deal where he saved $20,000 on his F-150 Lightning. Some of you may know someone who has this vehicle. Didn't save 20 grand off of it. Look, he said $73,000 F-150 Lightning. He ends up getting $49.90 discount plus $15,500 in rebates. Now I go to him and I said, look, because some of you would have been like, wow, that sounds like a good deal. We need to go and take that deal. But here's what I had to ask him. I had to ask him, if you don't know, if you haven't seen the other offers, we don't know for sure this is the best deal. We don't know for sure this is the best deal because what if you could have been Milligan and you could have got $27,000 off? Type dollar signs if you want all the money off. Type all the money if you want all the money. If you would be mad saving 20,000 because you could have saved 27, if that extra 7,000 would make you mad, would bother you, you didn't get that, type all the money. Type dollar signs if you like Deshone. Yeah, I don't care if I'm getting 20. If I could have got 27, I want the 27. So this is how we prevent that. You must get offers to find out. So the $15,500 discount from Sean is we don't know it's the best offer until we look at the other offers. Now let me find the clip where he explained how he had to go outside his state. Hold on, I got a lot of pictures here. He had to go outside his state to actually get the best offer. Hold on. Here we go, right here. He says, I guess I could have put a little more info on here. Yes, he said, I got about 15 quotes. I couldn't find anything under MSRP. I ended up expanding my search to 150 miles outside my area to find this deal. I'm going to another state to pick this up, which is something I never would have thought before. And I can't see the rest because the comment's blocking it. So he was local minded like you. I'm just going to find the best deal locally. Once he starts using my systems and finding out, wait, I could talk to a dealer that's 200 miles away from me the same way I'm talking to a dealer that's 20 minutes away from me. He expands his search. The dealer who's in the next state over saves him 20 grand total, gives him all the rebates. He drives to the next state to pick it up. That is how you win. What's up, Aways? Good to see you. That is how you win. Local business is dead. That doesn't mean the local dealer won't win the bid, but they must win the bid. Car dealers are not your friends. Hey, you might have been, it's going to be hard for you if you've been inviting your car salesman to the barbecues and they know all your kids and all of that. The whole thing is trust. That's what they're basing it off of. And watch this. If they don't mind competing, you can still come to the barbecues. But I need to make you compete with your competitors, because I need to know if the price you're giving me is truly the best price. And if I've been your customer for 10, 15 years and you sold cars to my family, then every time you see we need a car and you see I'm putting you up against your competitors, you should be like, well, that's Mr. Goody right there. You go out, talk to your general manager, go to him and say, hey, look, I know we don't normally sell a car below this, but this guy, he's shopping different now. He used to just walk in and let us negotiate with him, and we make five grand on him, 4 grand, 3 grand, 8 grand. And now he's making us shop. I don't really want to lose this guy's business because they buy a lot of cars. Can we do something to beat all our competitors? Talk to your general manager and get it done. I go to his barbecues, he's inviting me over. I know his kids. But if they get mad at you because they're like, wait, come on, what do you mean you put me through all of this now? Then you understand. You've been making money on me for years, and now you're pissed off because I'm making you compete. That's good. We needed to know that. Thanks a lot, Charlie. Hey, hope you enjoyed the barbecues. You won't be back. All of this is in my digital book, my new book called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get it for 75% off as part of our welcome offer. In my TikTok bio, click the picture of me. My Instagram bio, click the picture of me. You'll see a website there, and then click the button that says 75% off my new book as part of our welcome offer. I have one in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, no matter where you're at. Get your book, but it's only for 30 minutes. After that, price goes back up to $97. So $97 is worth it. $24 is even better, and it'll be in your inbox in 5 minutes. You'll have all my strategies for below market leases, below market purchases, below market used cars, leasing versus buying, bank bidding war, making banks and credit unions bid without hurting your credit. Everything will be there for you for $24 if you get there before the 30 minutes is up. Go ahead,